Hello and welcome to another video. So quite a while ago, I was trying to send an email, which was a custom designed email from my backend, which was Django. And I was trying to send an email using Python, and the service that I was using was Gmail. Now, I tried to look up any documentation on how to do this, but unfortunately, I didn't land on any substantive information on how I could achieve that. So in this video, what I'm going to do is to show you how I did it, and if you ever find yourself in such a spot, you won't have to go through the hassle that I went through. Now, to start off with, you'll need a Google account. Now, as you can see in my Google account, we'll need to set up an application password that we'll use to send our emails from our Python application. So first things first, hop over to the security tab, and as you can see, I have some application passwords created there. Now, if we go to the app passwords tab, we'll need to go ahead and create another application password. Now, this is going to work only if you have two-step verification set up on your Google account. So go ahead and set up that first, and you can follow up from there. So if we go to the application passwords, it will need us to log in again. So I'll go ahead and log in right there, and we have an email. Now this is what I created before. Okay, we can go ahead and create a new one. So if you're using YouTube, contacts, or calendar, you can select your appropriate application there. Now we are doing mail, so we'll do mail, and we are going to do a custom name, which is just let's say we can do, let's say, Python email, like that. So it's going to generate our application password. Now, how we'll use this password is, if we read down here, it tells us to go to our settings in our Google account in the application or device that we're trying to set up, and replace our password with this application password. Now, this is the password that is going to use to authenticate us. So in our application here, we can set up our application password like that and save it right there. We can also set our host username, which is just our email address, and I'll go ahead and type in my email address and at gmail.com. Nice and beautiful. Make sure I don't have any typos there. Now, the service or the library that we're going to be using is the SMTP library that comes shipped with Python. Now, if you're doing this from Django, you can also use the Django library, which is the Django send mail library that comes shipped with Django. Now, I had a typo there, so let's make sure I have it fixed. Now, we can start by importing the SMTP library right there, nice and beautiful, and we're going to instantiate the SMTP library so that we can log in and also start sending our emails. So I'll create an SMTP variable there, and this is going to come from our SMTP lib dot, and that needs to be a dot SMTP, like that, and that's a method there, and that method takes in, or that function takes in, our host username and the port. Now, for our host, we're going to use Google Gmail as I stated, so smtp.gmail.com, and for the port, we'll use, since we are doing smtp we'll be using port 587, like that. So we'll need to start our ehlo, so we'll do smtp.ehlo like that, and as you can see, it was a prompted method. Then we'll start our TLS, and this is the lifecycle method that the process takes to authenticate us so that you can send our emails. And we also need to do the ehlo again, like that. Now at this point, we will be logged into our service or mail service provider. So to log in to our mail service provider, we can do smtp.login and as you can see, it was a method which was prompted there. Now the parameters that we pass into the login function are the host user and the app password. So we can do host user right there and the application password. Now I would appreciate if you don't use this email to send me some dummy testing emails. So please make sure you use your email account right here. Now I'll also go ahead and delete the application password, so you're not going to be able to use that. Make sure you create your own. So at this point we are good to go, and we can start by creating our email, which is just a plain text email for now. So our subject will be, let's say, how, oops, I can't type today, how about lunch. How about lunch? And for the body, we'll do, are you available for lunch? Are you available for lunch, my good friends on the internet? Make sure you let me know that in the comment section below. All right. Now that aside, we can go ahead and create our message itself that will be sending, and which will consist of the body, or the subject and the body. Now I'm going to be using an F string. If you haven't used F strings before, you can also go ahead with the traditional formatting, which is, let's say you can do like that, then you do dot format, then you pass in the subject, and you know that if you've used the format before. So for that, for now, we'll go with the F string. We'll pass our subject in there, pass a bunch of line breaks right there, and do our body. Now we can just do 2 line breaks. Three is a lot. And right there, since we have set our email and we have authenticated ourselves, now it's time to send ourselves the email. So to send ourselves the email, SMTP lib has this handy method, which is send mail, that you can use to send our email. So we can do SMTP dot send mail, and inside the send mail function, we'll need to pass a from address, which is just from me to me, and we can pass our message like that. So we can save everything. Now once we execute this file or this script, what's going to do is it's going to import the library, check for our credentials, and start the process, authenticate us, look at our message, and it's going to send us that email right away. Now I hope this works. If we go and to run our code, the code is running. If we check correctly, and boom, code exited with code 0, meaning we are correct. So I have my email pulled up here, and we can see the email is right there. So we have, how about lunch? Are you available for lunch today? Let me know in the comment section below if you're available for lunch. All right. No, I'm just joking. So now that we've seen the send mail, now if we're using the SMTP method, now we don't have to go through all this process if we use the secure socket layer method that is specified also in the SMTP library itself. So instead of using the SMTP method itself, we can go with SMTP underscore SSL. Now for the port, since we are using a secure socket layer, the port is going to be 465, and we can get rid of that. You can see how it takes care of our refactoring, and it takes care of our redundant code right there. So we can save everything and see if how about lunch. Let's see, how about lunch tomorrow, so that you can see the difference. How about lunch tomorrow? Are you available for lunch tomorrow, not today? Right? So let me know if you're available for lunch tomorrow, not today. Okay, we'll run our script. It's going to take some time to run our script, and hopefully everything works out correctly, which it does. If we go to our inbox again, we have this email right here. How about lunch tomorrow? Are you available for lunch tomorrow? Now, this is quite easy, as you can tell from the start. Now, what if you want to send uh, a custom designed template like this one? If we open it using live server, now I'll make sure I have this linked up in the description section below so that you don't see me type this from scratch. Now, this is a template that I designed for an e-commerce website that we were trying to send once customers purchase products on the site. This is what they get. This is the email that is auto-generated by the script that I wrote, which was quite similar to this one. So what if you want to send a custom email that is designed like this? Are you going to send it this way using f-strings and all those formatting and sorts? No, you're not going to do that. But before we jump right to that, let me show you how we can add attachments to our email itself. Now, to do that, we have this email library from email. Let me just do the import. We can import. We can import email. Now, the method that I'm trying to check is email message, and I think that comes from email.message is where we want to import our method or our class, which is email message. So that is going to enable us to set this cleanly, or to set this our code clean. Now we have our passwords or our credentials. Let me move them to the top there. Now we can set our message variable to email message like that. We've instantiated the class there. Then we can set a message, and we can specify a subject like that. And our subject was, how about lunch tomorrow? We can cut that and paste it there, and we can set the message and set the from email, which is the host user, and that needs to be a variable call, which is like that. Then we can set msg, which is just short form for message. Then we can set the to email to be our host user again. So let me get rid of I'll keep the body there since we'll be using it in a bit. And we have the email there, and I'll move this to the top, and let me move them right there. We have our email, and now we can start by adding our content. So we can say message dot set to set content, which is a method right there, and inside the content we can specify we have any arguments and also keyword arguments, but I'm just going to pass my message right there. So we can set the content like that, and now we are ready to send our message. So we are not going to use the send mail method, since that is because we've switched to importing the email message class, which is coming from our email library. So we're going to use SMTP dot send message. Now the order of the arguments that are being passed is the message itself. Now we can send the message, and we can pass in also the from address and also the to address, but since we already have that passed in here, we don't need to pass that. We can just pass in our message right there, message, and I'll go ahead and get rid of that. Now we should see let's do today so that you can see today. What is today? Today 12th. Are you available for lunch today 12th? Let's see about that. And I'll go ahead and also run the code, and hopefully we don't run into any errors, which is nice and beautiful. If we go to our mail and check, we see the subject. How about lunch today at 12? Now the subject it's set. It's set the subject, and the content itself is the content as we set ourselves. Now, as I said, I'll show you how we can add an attachment to our email before we go to sending the custom designed template. So I have this email.png file, which is in the same directory as our application.py. Now we'll need to load in our image, and we can load that with, let's say, with open, and the file name, which is just that needs to be in as a string. So email.png, and we can open it as read bytes mode. So RB mode, and we can open it as just F. Let's do just F. Now we have our file right there. Now for the file data, or okay, I can do the file data is f dot read. Now we have that data, the data of the image read there. And for the file type, and actually Python has this handy method that we can, this library that we can import so that we can read the file type, which is either JPEG, PNG, or a GIF or a GIF. If if GIF, whatever. So we can import our img htr, which is image htr. Now for the file underscore type, as I was saying, it will be mhd dot, and we have this method which is a what, and we can set the file f dot name, which is just file. Now for the file name, it will just be f dot name. Actually, I had to set that before the file type, which doesn't matter. The order doesn't matter, and that needs to be name. All right. So now we have our file loaded, which is email. Let me see if I have any typos. I'm fond of making typos, so forgive me for that. Now we'll start by to add our email, and since the message is right there, we can put it on top of the load statement so that we have our class or our image variable, our message variable being instantiated before we load in the image. So we load in the image, we set the content, and I can close some of that, and we can add an attachment. So let's do msg dot add attachment, and for the attachment, what we'll need to pass in for the attachment is the file data, the main type, the subtype, and the file name. So we start by passing in the file data like that, and also the main type. The main type is going to be image, and the subtype, which is either JPEG, PNG, GIF, or GIF if you are psycho. Okay, for the subtype, we're going to do the file type itself, which is either SMTP, not SMTP, JPEG, PNG, or GIFs. We have our subtype, then we can do the file name, file underscore name, which is just one word, file name, needs to be our file name. Now I named it file name. I named it file name because now make sure you get that right, because you might have this confusion right there. So we have our message or our body, which is are you available for dinner or for lunch today 12th? Why am I thinking of dinner? We'll know that at the end of this video. All right, so let's see if we can send our message. I'll toggle the terminal there and run our code. Hopefully we don't run into any errors. And has no attribute add attachment. Okay, I think VS Code had that typo there, and the error is also set bytes content code unexpected keyword argument main type. Okay, let's see if we can get rid of that. Let's just start by sending the message itself, or the file itself, so that we can see if the file shows in our email, and we can see if we can. Okay, that needs to be main type and subtype. All right, so I'll take back main type and subtype. All right, I had that mistype there, sorry for that. Okay, I'll clear our terminal and run the code, and hopefully we don't get those many errors. Now give it a second to run there, and seems everything ran swiftly, and we have that, and we have our attachment, which is are you available for lunch today 12th, and we have our email being, or our PNG file being attached there. Now if we hover over the image, we'll see the the type itself there. So again, if we check the type, let's do print of file type. All right, so if we run our code, and we see the type is PNG, which is nice and beautiful. Now that is because of this image HDR library that we imported at the top. Now everything looks fine. Now this is as simple as it seems, or as it looks. Now what if we want to send something like this, which is as complicated as this, which is this custom design template? Now it is also just as simple as copy pasting and sending it. Now let me show you how you can send a simple HTML message. Now you can do msg.add alternative, and we can say let's do an f string, and that needs to be like that. So I'll add some line breaks there, and we can do a h1 tag, which is just our simple HTML, and our message was are you available for lunch on 12th. We can paste our message there and close off our h1 tag. We can add some styling there. We can do some style like that, color to, let's say, slit, or we can just do gray. Yeah, we can do slit gray like that, gray, and I need that to be like that. So we have color to be gray. Now I'm not good with formatting, but you can apply the formatting yourself. Now for the subtype, so sub, I'll copy that since I'm lazy in typing, and for the subtype we'll do HTML. Now, what I have to mention is, if you have the content itself, which is similar to the subtype or the alternative content that is set in HTML, what is going to be displayed is the HTML content itself. Now, let's see if that is going to be the case. Now, we can run our code. Now it's running right there in the background. And that seems to be taking a long time to run, which is nice. I think it ran. If we go back, we see, are you available for lunch today, 12th? Now you can see the HTML is applied, and that is because, as I said, if we have the set content and the add alternative, the alternative of subtype HTML will take precedence over the just plain text. All right. Now, let's go to the fun stuff of adding our custom design template, which is this dispatch.html large file right here. Now, the good thing about sending this is we can just copy paste everything and send it as it is. Now, as you can see, I have imported the fonts from Google right there, and this is right just because you don't see me typing this out from scratch. Now I'll make sure I link this in the description section below so that you can have access to this file if you need to practice with it. So I'll start by copying out everything and Control E, copy that. I'll close off the file since we don't need it. Now for the alternative part, instead of just returning our simple h1, we are going to return that same or that whole file. Now let's start by minimizing everything else. We can close off that, and let's see if we send our message and see if we get our template right in our email. So I'll save everything first before we send it, and I'll start by toggling our terminal, and let's see, I'll clear that and we can run our file. Right, so it's running right there in the background, and this might take a while because we are adding an attachment and we're also sending a custom design template. All right, everything seems fine, and I hope I forgot to change the subject right there, but if we check now, we see our email. All right, now the images aren't showing because I think that needs to take some time to load, but we can see our attachment is right there and our images. If we refresh, let's see if our images will be shown, and boom, we have our images right there. Now, so if we go back, and in case you are using, let's say, something or a component library, let's say like Bootstrap, all you need to do is to paste those Bootstrap CDN links inside. If we go to getbootstrap.com, let me show you how you can do that. Uh, if you're using the Bootstrap CDN links, let's say the style sheet right there, all you need to do is to copy the style sheet and paste it there. And this is not going to be auto formatted, but as you can see, you can use also the components from Bootstrap directly by pasting the link there and sending the email to your service, or sending the email using your service, which is Gmail in that case. Now, as I said, this is what I did. If you have any concerns or any suggestions on how we can do this, make sure you let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video.